Hey everyone, and welcome. When you think about Dutch food, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it cheese? Maybe some fried snacks? Well, get ready, because we're about to dive into a story that's way more surprising, way richer, and honestly, way more important than you'd think. Right, let's just get this out of the way first. You know the stereotype, right? That Dutch food is, well, kind of simple, maybe even a little boring. That it's just fuel to get you through a hard day's work. But is that really the whole picture? Or is there something deeper going on? Today, we're going to peel back those layers and show you how what's on a Dutch plate tells an incredible story about history, about trade, and about the future. You're going to see Dutch food as a window right into the Dutch soul. All right, so to really get this, we've got to go way back. We have to understand the very land and water that literally built this nation. A country shaped by its constant battle with the sea, its practical, no-nonsense culture, and a trading empire that once spanned the entire globe. And this, right here, is the central puzzle of Dutch culture. You've got this crazy push and pull. On one side, a mindset that values hard work and simplicity. Food is fuel, nothing more. But on the other side, you have the Dutch Golden Age, bringing in unimaginable wealth and ships loaded with exotic spices like nutmeg and cloves. This clash is key to everything. And you can see how this plays out over the centuries. You go from this very basic medieval diet of dairy and porridge to a golden age where, if you were wealthy, you could literally taste the world. But then something else happened. These home economic schools popped up, and they standardized everything, teaching this very frugal, simple way of cooking that had a huge impact you can still feel today. Okay, so what does all this history of frugality and global riches actually look like on a plate? Let's dig into some iconic dishes and think of them not just as food, but as stories you can actually eat. First up, the absolute king of Dutch comfort food. The very definition of a hearty, stick-to-your-ribs meal, Stamppot. And the name, Stamppot, literally mash pot, tells you everything you need to know. It's direct, it's unpretentious, no fancy French names here. It's honest, it's practical, it gets the job done. That's Dutch culture on a plate. This is the classic Dutch dinner formula. They even have an acronym for it, AVG, potatoes, veggies, meat. But it's so much more than that. It's pure nostalgia. It's the taste of a warm kitchen on a miserable rainy day. It's simple, sure, but it's a huge part of everyday life. All right, let's leave the cozy kitchen and head to the bar. We need to talk about what is maybe the most beloved Dutch snack, an absolute essential during this amazing Dutch social ritual called a borrel, which is basically after-work drinks and snacks. Oh man, that first bite! You get that super crispy outside and then boom, this molten, creamy, savory filling inside. They're just incredible. But the story behind them? It's pure Dutch resourcefulness. So get this, a snack that was literally invented to use up leftovers has now become the fuel for Dutch social life. It perfectly captures that spirit of turning something simple and practical into something that brings people together. Okay, obviously we have to talk about cheese. And look at this, Gouda is an absolute global superstar. But why? How did that happen? Well, centuries ago, the Dutch became masters of engineering, creating new land from the sea for their cows. That head start, plus their knack for trade, turned Gouda into a household name around the world. But Dutch food is not stuck in the past. Not at all. In fact, what's happening right now in the Dutch kitchen is a total revolution, pulling in flavors from all over the world and pioneering a new way to think about food. A huge piece of this modern story comes from the Netherlands' colonial history in Indonesia, but it's so much more than that now. We're talking Surinamese, Turkish, Moroccan flavors all bubbling up in the Dutch food scene. And this rich, complex history is perfectly symbolized by the Rijsttafel. Okay, but here's the twist with the Rijsttafel, or rice table. This wasn't something you'd find in a village in Indonesia. No, this was a Dutch invention. A massive, over-the-top feast meant to show off the wealth and power of their colony. It was basically colonial power served up on a platter. And that brings us to the future, which is honestly mind-blowing. This is the pivot from a food story defined by fighting the sea to a new story defined by world-class technology. So this isn't just some vague idea. It's a national mission they call circular agriculture. The best way to think about it is like a perfect circle. Nothing is wasted. It's about creating a food system that works with nature, not against it. And as you can see, they have hardcore, measurable goals for everything from soil health to animal welfare. So this isn't just about farming. This is about rethinking the entire Dutch identity for the 21st century and its role in the world. And they've put a date on it, 2050. That's the deadline for a fully circular economy. Think about that. This tiny, waterlogged country might just create the blueprint for how to feed the entire planet sustainably. So when you step back and look at the whole journey, it's pretty amazing. The story of Dutch food has gone from simple fuel for hard labor to food that could literally shape our future. Which leaves us with one last question. The Dutch have always been engineers, mastering their environment. Now they're trying to engineer a food system for the whole world. What will that next chapter taste like? Well, that's a story being written right now. And honestly, I can't wait to find out. Thanks for joining me.